to be difficult. This is why you should rely on a professional and experienced player in the market. Let me introduce you to Universal Properties. Universal Properties. Universal Properties. Universal Properties are one of the oldest and the most reliable property company in the Gambia. Universal Properties, we have 3 great locations to offer: Lamen, Brufut, and also on the Sukuta Airport Highway. In Lamen, we have 25 by 20 with inner roads, electricity, water, and some residents are already in place. We are greatly located in Brufut and very well accessible. The place you would want to build your dream home. Universal Properties. Universal Properties. And in Sukuta Airport Highway, you can have easy access to the airport, roads, and all amenities. We are located on number 2 Carava Avenue FIB House on the 2nd floor. Call us on 788-8888, 618-8888, or 996-5204, or www.universalproperties.org. Universal Properties. In God we trust. In God we trust.
Welcome back. After 6 weeks of bloody strikes, thousands of platinum miners in South Africa are returning to the Marikana mines. The industrial triumph, which will see an unprecedented 20% pay rise for the miners, has set a precedent. Tension is now mounting in Rustenburg, where several miners who have been demonstrating for 2 days now have been arrested by the police.
They are going to work early in the morning. Thousands of employees at Lonmin's platinum mines in Marikana are returning to work after a very long strike. A 6-week strike which led to bloodshed. 46 people were killed in clashes. The Marikana miners obtained an unprecedented 20% pay hike before ending their strike. These South African miners are relieved that the ordeal is over.
I feel very happy I can go back to work now. I'm going to live well now.
But the unrest has taken root at other mines, with the world's biggest platinum producer, Anglo-American Platinum, or Amplats, threatening legal action if wildcat strikers do not return to work immediately. Police fired tear gas and stun grenades to disperse a crowd of men in a squatter camp near the Amplats mine outside Rustenburg. Economists are saying that Marikana miners may have set a precedent for wage settlements that could spread across South Africa.
We are not going to work until we get our demands, or either we can sit here and listen what's going on, what's the feedback.
Here outside Rustenburg, police arrested several strikers who have been demonstrating for 2 days now. The South African government even sent in troops here to help the overwhelmed police forces to restore order.
Burmese opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi has bagged the U.S. Congressional Gold Medal, America's most prestigious honor conferred on a civilian. And Colombia is demanding the extradition of drug baron Daniel Varela, who was arrested in Venezuela on Tuesday. We have details of this and other stories in this World News Roundup.
On Wednesday, Israel ordered an airstrike on a vehicle traveling through the town of Rafah, located in southern Gaza along the Egyptian border. 2 members of Hamas were killed and a 3rd was wounded. Israel said that the men had participated in strikes against Israel and in smuggling weapons from Egypt. Officials in Gaza said that the 2 men killed were border guards. Over the last year, a truce between Hamas and Israel has regularly been broken. Burmese opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi was received with honors on Wednesday in the United States. The icon of Burmese democracy was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal by the U.S. Congress, the most prestigious distinction to be conferred on a civilian. She won the medal in 2008 while under house arrest in Rangoon. Ms. Suu Kyi, a winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, later met with another recipient of that award, Barack Obama, whose administration recently lifted sanctions against Burma. President Obama expressed his admiration for her courage and reaffirmed his commitment to support the Burmese government in its steps toward democratic reform. A nationwide strike has been called in India. Small businesses are protesting a government proposal to open the country's retail sector to global supermarket chains. The strike was joined by trucking companies and bus drivers who face a 12 to 14% rise in the price of diesel. The decision to allow global giants like Walmart and Tesco to sell directly to Indian consumers was abandoned last year due to opposition. The government says that India needs this reform to revive a moribund economy. The reform would allow foreign supermarket chains to own as much as a 51% stake in multi-brand Indian retailers. Colombia is demanding the extradition of drug kingpin Daniel Barrera, who was arrested on Tuesday in Venezuela. Mr. Barrera was one of the most powerful drug barons in the region. His arrest was coordinated between Colombian, Venezuelan, American, and British officials. The U.S. offered $5 million for information leading to his arrest. To hide his identity, Mr. Barrera submitted to plastic surgery and burned his fingertips with acid to destroy the prints. Mr. Barrera's organization is estimated to have shipped some 900 tons of cocaine to the U.S. and Europe.
Afghanistan produces 90% of the world's opium, the main ingredient in heroin. Since the drug is in abundance in the war-ravaged country, addiction is skyrocketing. This report by CNN's Anna Corrin shows how some people are doing to help. Viewers are warned that the story may be difficult to watch.
Park in downtown Kabul, huddled under the trees, are a group of Afghans ignored by society. With a syringe in one hand, a vial of heroin in the other, this 28-year-old man begins a ritual that's been part of his life for the past 7 years. He draws the liquid out. What's left over, he drinks, and then he gets into position. Health workers give him sterile swabs to clean his skin. He doesn't use the crook of his arm because his veins have collapsed. Instead, he chooses the back of his hand. For the next 5 minutes, he slowly pumps heroin into his veins. He then collapses with the needle still sticking out of his hand. This is a tragic scene repeated throughout the country, with up to 1 million Afghans addicted to drugs. That's 8% of the population, double the world average. With Afghanistan producing 90% of the world's opium, the main ingredient of heroin, drugs here are pure in quality and very cheap. 28-year-old Reza injects half a gram a day, which costs around $4 US. He started a year ago after being introduced to it by a bad friend. He says he'd like to give up, but at the moment he can't. Using drugs made me leave my home, my family, he tells me. If I didn't use drugs, I would have a family, a good life.
I will show you the...
Ernst Visser runs a preventative drug program for Médecins du Monde in Kabul. It's the only clinic that provides methadone, a substitute for heroin, but can only legally cater for 71 drug users.
I would describe the drug addiction problem in Afghanistan as enormous and growing.
The clinic also helps addicts who walk in off the street.
This is his first day that he's not used any other drugs normally. He's yesterday been put on methadone.
He introduces me to 38-year-old Asadullah, who's been an addict for 14 years. The father of 4 says his family has had enough. I want to use methadone until I forget drugs completely, he says. I want to be a healthy person, to find a good way to start a normal life.
2 years ago, there was a real sign the Afghan government and the international community were serious about tackling drug addiction in this country. A methadone program started, but 2 months later, it was shut down. Officials saying they're still trying to work out the best form of treatment.
We now take a look at the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
Continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without ceasing. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.